The nation paused today to recognize the service and sacrifices of America's veterans. Americans mark Veterans Day in a variety of ways. In small towns and large cities across the nation, a sea of flags lined main streets. It was a day for retired service members to proudly wear their old uniforms and march in parades. Thousands of veterans and their supporters marched up Fifth Avenue right here in New York City, home of the nation's oldest Veterans Day parade, carrying a giant American flag. Former New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly, a former Marine lieutenant, served as Grand Marshal. Meanwhile, U.S. Vice President Joe Biden led the annual ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery, where thousands of military personnel are buried. Arise News Washington correspondent Colin Campbell has more on this day. Hi, Colin.
Hi, Debbie. The Vice President solemnly remembered the sacrifices of our nation's veterans as he discussed a new direction for the Veterans Affairs Department. Vice President Joe Biden laid a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns while President Obama was on a trip to China this week. Mr. Biden thanked those currently serving and retired service members while he commented on the sacrifices that they've made.
You are, the veterans of America, the most trusted among us and the most tested of all Americans. Collectively, you represent generations of soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardmen who have served and sacrificed for all of us. You are not only the heart and soul, but you are the very spine of this nation.
The commemoration marked the first Veterans Day since it was discovered that veterans endured months-long waits for care at government hospitals, and some staff members doctored record-keeping to conceal the lengthy wait times. The Vice President said that the Veterans Affairs Department is beginning to see significant changes. The Vice President has had 2 sons serve in the military. He ended his speech at the Arlington National Cemetery with a rallying cry to the troops.
American warriors never bend, never break, and never, ever, ever yield. And that's why, as I tell every foreign leader I encounter, it's never, never, ever been a good bet to bet against the United States of America, because we have you. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
The wreath-laying ceremony is just part of a number of programs that are being conducted here in Washington, D.C., including the first-of-its-kind Concert for Valor, which starts in just a few minutes. It includes performances by Bruce Springsteen, Eminem, and Rihanna, appearances by actors such as Jamie Foxx, and a video tribute from Oprah Winfrey and many others, Debbie.
All right, Colin, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow again from Washington. We continue our discussion with Colonel Carol St. Pierre, who is the president of the National Association of Black Military Women, and she's right here in our New York studios. Welcome to Arise America, and thank you so much for coming in. I always love to take this opportunity to thank our servicemen and women. Thank you for serving this country.
Thank you very, very much.
We owe you a great debt of gratitude. And you had a very long day.
4 o'clock.
Not the least of which was marching in the parade right here up Fifth Avenue. What was that like for you?
It was like a dream come true. Seeing people that we don't know, recognizing us as Black military women and saying how they love us and thank you very much. It made us feel so good to know that complete strangers love and admiring us, and that was good.
You're the president of the New York, New Jersey chapter of the National Association of Black Military Women. Tell us about this organization.
This organization was initially developed by five women, Black women, who really gathered together, reunion, get together, having drinks, and just talking about their experience in the military. And that's how it developed, the organization developed. And we're all over, New York City, you name it. We're small chapters, but we're out there.
Do you mainly provide support for each other, or are there services and guidance that you do as well?
We provide support for one another. I'm still in the military, and so these women support me. They've been there. To tell our story, everybody has the same story to be told. We're here also, our organizations for young Black female women who is going to probably the same kind of situation, and we're there to support them, to give them guidance, to be there for them if they need mentoring.
Speaking of situations, over these last couple of years, there have been so much attention on women in the military as it relates to military sexual assault. But you're an African-American woman, served for many years, and you're in the Army Reserve. Can you tell me what the culture is like inside the armed services for a black woman?
For a black woman in the military, you have to be very, very strong, and you have to have each other. The sexual does exist, but if we bind together, there's 5 of us, and we bind together. We did everything together. It does exist. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but I was never, and never saw that particular situation with any of my friends.
I mean, you're talking about the military sexual assault.
Yes,
Let's talk about the racism. You have experienced racism in your military career.
Have.
Tell me how. Give me an example of how you've experienced it.
I think that we've all have experienced racism. Being a colonel, being the female black, there's going to be racism in that sense, how people look at you, how people speak to you, how people treat you, and you have to overcome that. And it's difficult. I'm not going to tell you it's not, but having peers, having my own friends calling and say, oh, this happened to me, and then them giving me guidance has helped me tremendously.
You've attained to the very admirable rank and prestigious rank of colonel. But do you find yourself to be the exception and not the rule?
It might be. It's hard to say. Meaning being black.
Being a black woman. Do you see other black women ascending the way their peers do? Whether it's non-black women, women of the dominant race, and certainly men. If you compare to the other groups, do you see a disparity?
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Just as simple as that.
It's simple as that. But like I indicated, if we bind together, that is not going to be an issue that we dwell upon, because it does exist. But what we've overcome is by being together and working as a team.
I want to get to a couple things before I have to let you go, but I just want to ask, as it relates to a culture of violence, not violence, of bias, a culture of bias as it relates to race. Do you find that African American women have a recourse, in the civilian world, if an employee can document and prove bias, racism, sexism, ageism, whatever, there is a recourse in the law.
There is.
Do you have that same kind of recourse in the military?
We have, but you have to be persistent. We have, in a sense, whereas there's individuals that's there for you, but like I indicated, you have to be persistent and you have to document. And documentation is the utmost.
Well, you are an example of someone who certainly has made it and deserves so many accolades and congratulations.
You very much.
Before I let you go, very quickly, what does Veterans Day mean to you now?
Veterans Day to me means togetherness to all military branch, Army, Navy. When I was in the parade, I just saw everybody as one. And that is something to look upon, that we weren't different colors. We were just armed forces, and we were honoring each other. And that was great.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah,
Again, we thank you.
Thank you very much.
And happy Veterans Day.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.